What's going on, guys? Seth here doing a TLG Reacts for the Silent Hill 2 story trailer that just dropped not that long ago, very late, and then we have a hands-on preview via IGN we're going to be watching as well. Now, as you guys know, if you've been watching regularly, that I have been kind of teeter-tottering on my thoughts on the Silent Hill 2 remake. I think, Bloober team has taken on more than they possibly could chew, but it's a big gamble. If they knock it out of the park, it's going to elevate them. If they fail to deliver what people want from this, it's going to bury them. So I'm hoping, obviously, for their success. I always hope for good games. I never hope games are bad or fail. I'm just worried that this is a big project. It's got a lot of fans. I'm one of them, and yeah, you don't really want to fail on that kind of thing. Although I want to remind people as well that anytime you make a remake of a game, it does not get rid of the original game. So people always kind of talk about remakes like it's not needed, blah blah blah. That's fine, it's not needed, but you can still go back and play the original unchanged and still enjoy that. If this exists and it's bad or good, that doesn't delete the original game. So it's not a good mentality to have. But yeah, I have slowly become more interested in Silent Hill 2 Remake as I've seen more and more. 2 trailers ago, I thought the combat looked not good. I thought the voice acting was done well. I think the atmosphere is pretty good. The last trailer that I watched, you guys might have seen it, my reaction to it, I thought a lot of things had improved. A couple things still look a little stiff, but overall it's looking better, and I feel compelled to have to play this game, this remake. So I'm going to be picking it up regardless, but I am wanting to pick it up from what I'm seeing now, which is nice as compared to picking it up just because, like, morbid curiosity. I got to know how this turned out. So yeah, I'm expecting to hopefully get more hyped for this remake coming out this year from watching these videos, and we'll see how my opinion shifts after seeing them. So let's jump into it. All right, we are starting with the story trailer. Let's hope it's
Jane,
really good.
Honey, did something happen to you after we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else?
Are they recreating the original?
You were always so forgetful.
Trailer?
Remember that time in the hotel?
Are you taping again? Come on.
This is a remade version of the original song.
It's so peaceful.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did.
I love all the music.
I'm alone there now, in our special place.
Just put the gun to their head.
Okay. That's what it looks like.
You can't just kill someone because the way they looked at you.
You should see your face, Jane.
Let go!
I'm sorry, Laura, but I can't let you just run around this place. You might get hurt.
Hurt by what?
The performances are pretty good.
This place
from
is
what I've
different
seen
from
so
what
far.
I remember. I don't think she's here anymore.
This whole town.
Nice lighting.
Might be best if you just get out of here.
Yeah, you're right.
You said you took everything, but you forgot that videotape we made.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So you are Maria.
I am. If you want me to be.
How do you know about Mary?
You see it too? For me, it's always like this.
Doesn't matter who I am.
Sorry, this is a terrible reaction. I'm like locked in.
I am here for you, James. See? I'm real.
I don't know if it's. I mean, it's good that they played that song. I don't know if it's fair though, because I have like so much nostalgia hearing that song that like anything could have been good to that song. That being said, that's not me saying anything negative. Actually, the opposite. I thought that the trailer was really good from what we saw here. In comparison to like the original trailer, which I love that original Silent Hill 2 trailer. It doesn't have the same atmosphere as that game, because that game has like a darker vibe to it. The characters all look sickly, and there's just like this haunting feeling to it. But also, the line delivery of the original trailer is not as good as this trailer, and so that kind of adds to how eerie it was in a weird way. With that though, all the line delivery in this trailer I thought was really good. I think everybody's like really doing a good job playing their characters. They sound different, but they're kind of like owning this new vibe that this game has, which you have to do. You either recreate the original game exactly, which it seems like they're really fucking close, but when it comes to the characters, the designs are different and they're being played slightly different, and so I think they're doing a pretty good job on kind of owning that. The game looks really good graphically. I think the character models look really well, even though they don't have that sickly look that I miss from Silent Hill 1 through 4, the originals. But this isn't the original game. It's fine. This is their vision. I can just accept it. But outside of that, facial mocapping is really good. You're seeing the performances in a way that you just didn't get in the original game. And the mocapping in general, the movement, everything looks really good. Also, I appreciate that they're going scene by scene. These are really close to the original scenes, which is also very cool to see, especially in this kind of graphical fidelity. One thing I noticed in this trailer as well, outside of getting a peek at Eddie finally, which was kind of wild, kind of looks like Chris Farley or something. It's so interesting to see this exact scene played out, in modern graphics, and it's slightly different, not slightly, pretty different looking character. You can tell it's him, but it's just really fucking with my my nostalgia. One thing though I noticed in this trailer was one thing I kind of complained about in the last gameplay trailer I watched, is I didn't think the game looked dark enough, and these scenes look pretty dark. So maybe it was just that part of the game that they're playing, or maybe they darkened the game. Maybe they heard people with similar complaints as myself saying that, and they were like, yeah, we'll make it a little darker. So I appreciate that. Gives it a creepier vibe. And yeah, I know that they are redoing the whole original soundtrack while still maintaining those songs. Akira Yamaoka is doing the whole thing. So it's really interesting to hear this modern rendition of that song, because I love that song. I've heard it a million times, but hearing like all these different things they're doing with it, and it sounds a little cleaner, was really interesting. And of course I like it, but there's some things there that I wasn't expecting, as I, typically if I listen to the song, I know how it goes, and I'm just like, oh shit, that's different, but that's cool. Like I said, it's definitely familiar, but it's doing a couple things different, the whole game, the music, everything. But it's kind of owning it, and that's what you have to do. If you're going to change some things up, you got to really make it your own. And I'm hoping from what I'm seeing, it seems like they're doing that, but I'm hoping Bloober can nail that. So here's hoping. I want this game to be great. I don't expect it to be, but I want it to be. It's not me hyping myself up. I just want games to be good. But specifically, if you're going to remake Silent Hill 2, I want you to knock it out of the park. So I hope they do. And this was pretty good. This has me pretty interested, pretty almost excited, I would say. So yeah. Let's jump over to the next video. All right, we have a Silent Hill 2 hands-on preview. This is via IGN. Let's check it out.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill.
Ever since the release of the Resident Evil 2 remake, developers have returned to the well en masse to give their classic games a new lease of life, more often than not with mixed results. From what I've seen so far, the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake doesn't come close to hitting the heights of Resident Evil 2, a blueprint for how a great remake is made, but it certainly feels like developer Bloober team has made a lot of the right decisions when building on the survival horror classic.
Anytime I talk about this remake and I talk about things I'm hesitant about, or things that aren't just completely positive, people always bring up like, oh, it's a remake. Like it's a remake. Like as if there's anything negative about it, it's because I don't accept it's a remake. But he brings up Resident Evil 2 remake, and that's how you do a remake. That is a fantastic remake. So it's just kind of interesting. Some of the pushback I've received just haunted me for a second. It came back. Just hearing him talk about Resident Evil 2, I'm like, yeah, that's a great one. And I hope this one's as good. But yeah,
its undeniable legacy, even if at times it feels a little too safe.
That's fair. Better be safe, though. I
played the opening 3 hours of Silent Hill 2, and it was immediately apparent from the off that the remake gracefully captures all the important elements. An oppressive tone and straightforward game mechanics, even when the task itself is being obtuse.
Graphics are good.
As with any Silent Hill game, atmosphere is king, and Silent Hill 2 immediately and consistently puts you in a state of unease. A thick fog surrounds the town just like in the original, but now benefits from modern lighting and volume, thanks to today's technical improvements. The streets are now filled with a new level of detail, shops are explorable, and strange sounds, cries, and groans are dynamically lurking around every corner. I can imagine it would have been incredibly tempting to layer music into the Silent Hill 2 remake, bringing the scares more in line with contemporary horror hits. But its slavish resistance is commendable, as the diegetic sounds of Silent Hill are where the game really sings, or rather drones.
It sounds pretty good.
Every room in the woodside apartments creates its own version of uneasy tension, subtly assaulting you with an oppressive, unearthly soundscape of pulses and organic audio. From the moment that protagonist James enters Silent Hill, the onslaught of bad vibes is present, and it never lets up for a second. Often fear is driven by anticipation, but Silent Hill 2 is all anticipation, with the sounds of the lying figures and co being ever present. In some ways, it's a difficult state of mind to be locked into.
You want to feel uneasy, you don't want to keep walking. Or you want to feel like you don't want to keep moving forward.
It's fair to say that Silent Hill 2 has stepped up its visual and audio game, but that's to be expected for a 2024 release. The bigger and perhaps more impactful change is perspective, with Silent Hill 2 adopting the trusty over-the-shoulder playstyle that's become a staple of the genre. What could have once been considered sacrilege for the series now serves the gameplay well, helping the unearthly combat encounters feel surprisingly familiar. Like the original, James's arsenal is limited, with the only available weapons in the section that I played being a handgun and his trusty wooden plank. Combat is certainly light and rudimentary, but Silent Hill 2 was never about that. It's serviceable in a way that complements the character's ability, although I imagine it would have been extremely tempting for Bloober team to strap James up Rambo style, although it would have been a disservice to the character and the story it's telling.
True.
That's not to say that James doesn't have a new move in his locker though. Silent Hill 2 implements a new dodge mechanic, allowing James to quickly dart out of the way of an enemy's projectile vomit or pyramid head swinging blade. It's a simple, quick shuffle, not a Dark Souls-like forward roll, but it's a tool that helped me quickly establish a swing, dodge rhythm before the lying figures threw up their guts all over me. Perhaps the biggest compliment I could give is that it's a move that feels like it always should have been in Silent Hill 2. From what I've seen
as long as
so far,
it's not too aggressive, because there was that one Silent Hill, I forgot what the fuck it's called. It's where I stopped really being into Silent Hill after 4. Where you're like the military dude who comes back home, and they're like, this guy was in the military, so he can like fuck around and find out, and like you like could like dodge aggressively and fight with a knife and shit, and like all the enemies are just like knives and spiky things, and I'm just like, this is fucking stupid. But yeah, that one felt a little like too involved combat wise. I know they were like, he's a military vet, so he's like more prone to be able to fight, but it just felt like the wrong direction. Obviously it was, because the series fucking died after that. But this does look a little less aggressive in the movement, I guess. It looks a little more like just trying to get out of the way, which, you know, anybody can do. So yeah, it looks cool. Even though when Pyramid Head swung at him and he dodged, it was like so, that was fucking Dark Souls shit. He was so close.
It's largely faithful, and I visited all the locations I expected to in the first few hours. The opening jaunt through the streets of Silent Hill is expanded though, tasking you to solve a puzzle involving a jukebox.
Interesting.
And forcing you to visit several of the town's locations. Along the way, there's plenty to examine further and marvel at the detail layered into this once sparse location.
I'm really happy with the graphics.
While purists may scoff at this addition, I feel like it's a smart move that encourages you to spend a little more time roaming in the iconic foggy streets. And it's certainly a welcome addition before you spend a large portion of the game funneled down dark hallways in a largely linear path.
True. Wonder how they'll handle
Fans of the
that.
original will be happy to hear that the remake doesn't hold back with its returning puzzles. Like the original, the remake scales clues based on your difficulty level. But even on the normal difficulty setting, I found some puzzles momentary head scratchers that encouraged me to truly absorb my surroundings, especially after hard switching from my kill everything that moves headspace. Fans of the 2001 classic and the Resident Evil series know exactly what kind of thing to expect, using environmental clues to solve riddles and combinations. But it felt like there was a little less signposting in Silent Hill 2 than in its peers. It's hard for me to quantify this, but all I can say is that my usual urge to brute force the puzzles was quickly replaced by a wish to legitimately solve them. Hopefully that speaks to the puzzle's design and not the pressures of the PlayStation environment. Bloober Team's decision making when rebuilding this classic has been clever, but it's not perfect. The dialogue and performances still feel a little too campy and silly for my taste, often taking me out of the super serious tone.
Funny 'cause people complain about how they sound now.
You shouldn't be here.
Unlike Resident
Compared
Evil,
to the
where the
original.
campy nature is a big part of the vibe, Silent Hill in 2024 requires a subtle touch to complement the same masterful approach in atmosphere and sound design. Purists may celebrate its faithful remaking of the original lines, but I felt like there was an opportunity here for some subtle tweaks. I only got a small
Like
taste
what?
of the dialogue though, and Silent Hill 2 isn't exactly known for long conversations, so perhaps it's not any kind of deal breaker.
You didn't love Mary anyway.
What? Hey, wait!
Another irksome inclusion is the logical but slightly tedious activity of opening countless kitchen cupboards and drawers.
Real quick, because he didn't offer anything, it seems. I don't know what he means by tweaks. If it is just straight up every cutscene verbatim, that's good. That's at the very least what people are going to want. And if you deviate too much from those specific cutscenes people are waiting for, that could upset people. But what I would like to see, and I don't know if they have it in the game or not, because he didn't really talk about it a whole lot, but expanding on those cutscenes or expanding more, keep those cutscenes we expect, but then have additional ones or additional dialogue in different sections that are new to Silent Hill 2 in this remake. That could be cool without doing too much. I don't know if that's what he means, but otherwise I wouldn't want them to change too much when it comes to the more iconic scenes, because that's where a lot of the scrutiny is going to come from if they fuck those up. What people want and are familiar with, if they mess that up, that's where people are going to get pissed. So
to collect handgun ammo and healing items, similar in a way to modern games like The Last of Us. It makes sense on paper, organically placing your collectible items in realistic locations, but I can't help feel like it took me out of the atmosphere, altering my thought process from fear to loot every time I entered a new room.
That's fair.
Maybe it says more about me than the game, but several times after entering a room, I was jumped on by a hidden mannequin because I had prioritized scouring for pickups instead of enemies.
I mean, that's your fault, but I get that if there's a lot of shit to loot, that kind of takes away
from what I've seen so far of Silent
takes
Hill
away
2.
from the Silent Hill experience, but at the same time too, it's just adding more stuff to do, which I think in a modern game is kind of standard, so it's kind of hard to balance those two things.
It doesn't appear to incorporate my favourite feature the best remakes tend to have, taking your expectations based on what you know about the original and subverting them. 2002's Resident Evil Remake, which played around with the dogs jumping through the window jump scare that all fans expected, is the perfect example of how this can be expertly crafted. The approach allows for tension of a fake out and the creative space to drop new scares in where you least expect it. The Silent Hill 2 remake doesn't appear to have any real moments like that, and ultimately, no real big swings that change the landscape for hardcore fans. At least not what I saw in the opening 3 hours. As a remake, Silent Hill 2 falls more in line with Bluepoint's faithful Shadow of the Colossus rather than Capcom's rejuvenated Resident Evil 2. It substitutes bold new swings.
Konami and Bloober team both know they got to play this safe though, because they haven't been just like throwing out remakes that have been like doing really well, making mistakes with Resident Evil 3 because a lot of people bitched about that one, and still can pump out great remakes after that. They're coming back after being gone for so long that if you're going to remake something or reignite interest in the brand, you got to do it in a way that you're not going to just like piss everyone off and have to like go disappear again right after this. Like Metal Gear Solid 3 or Delta and this need to be sellable, basically. They have to make Konami and Bloober money, and they have to get people energized with the brands again. And so it makes sense why they're playing it safe. I get you want more, and hopefully they do have a little bit more, but I completely understand why they're playing it this safe.
Or a slavish dedication to the original, which by no means is a bad thing, just not the radical steps some might expect.
They can't do that though.
Silent Hill 2 certainly needed a fresh coat of paint and a tune of the engine, and Bloober team has provided that in spades.
It looks good.
But everything else is an extremely faithful reimagining that mostly resists the urge to alter the successful formula of a stone cold classic. And if you like that video and you want to find out more about Silent
Okay. Overall, I like what I saw, even though what he's talking about when it comes to samey feeling, expecting things that happened in the first or the original game, them not subverting the game. I already went over my thoughts on that. I don't think they can take that liberty right now. They can't be comfortable enough to do that because they have to be able to come out of releasing this game in a positive light. They have to make their money back. They have to get people excited about Silent Hill again. Be excited about possibly new Silent Hills, which they're working on like 58 of them right now. And Konami's just been kind of like hiding for a while when it comes to their games. And so this is them investing money into finding out if there is still a want for these brands, basically. And so they're doing themselves a favor and us a favor by staying safe with it, because that will, like I said before, just be a safer bet for the audience playing it. Maybe later they can get a little crazier with the remakes, but I just hope that they can nail all the things we want them to get right with this remake. And if they can do that, I'll be happy. It's a better looking game. It doesn't negate the original art style, which I love to death. This game will never look like that, but it's obviously really nice looking. It's a great way to possibly, I don't know, I haven't played it, experience this story in a new way. But yeah, it's got all these improvements, but you know, at the end of the day, I want to play this and not feel like they just spit all over the brand of Silent Hill, and specifically Silent Hill 2, because that's like the best one of the 4. Even though, of course, I love all of them. And so it seems like they're trying to handle it with respect. Will that hurt them? I don't know. But I think it's better for them to play it safe than to not. A couple things, though. They said there's like new jukebox puzzle and new locations to explore, which is something I do want from a remake, is more stuff. As long as, it doesn't bloat it or make it feel like shit or change things too much. But the idea of exploring more of Silent Hill sounds fucking awesome to me. And where this guy's talking about all these things are happening the way he expected them to happen, they didn't subvert shit. Well, you can't really say that when it comes to brand new locations, because you don't know anything about those. That's all new stuff. So that's, in a way, kind of subverting your expectations of what this game's going to bring you and people who've played in the past, because you couldn't go into these locations before. So that's pretty cool and also safe. And yeah, that sounds really cool. That you can explore more of Silent Hill, because that's what I want more of. When I remember when I played these games originally, 1 through 4, I wanted more from them. I was like, holy shit, that was really cool. I want to know more about the town. I want to know more about everything. And so this is just giving you more, which, I think is good. And then, yeah, his observation of prioritizing loot over everything else, obviously is going to be a person-to-person thing. And it does kind of take it more into the Last of Us territory of like you're scavenging in this post-apocalyptic world. This isn't a post-apocalyptic world. This is alternate dimension shit going on. But in that, it makes sense because it's part of the core gameplay of like scavenging, crafting. In a game like this, I don't, in theory, think it sounds bad to be like looking for more things and nooks and crannies. It gives you more things to do, more things to look for. But I do kind of understand what he's saying about feeling distracted from like the scarier element of the game, because the game's become more gamified, so you're paying more attention to that. Him saying he's getting like attacked and shit because he's looking for stuff, that sounds like a skill issue. That's your thing. I'm not too worried about that myself. So, but we'll see when I play it. But yeah, overall, I think the story trailer was really good, and I think the gameplay we're seeing here looks pretty decent. Everything they talked about in this trailer or this preview sounded interesting. And I think they're doing, on paper, what I think they need to be doing for this first big remake coming out soon, which I am now pretty interested in playing. Pretty excited to play. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about Silent Hill 2 hands-on preview? What did you notice in this preview that caught your eye? Anything that you're concerned about? Maybe something sounded, you're like, I don't like what they're doing there. What do you think about the playing it safe versus subverting thing? And what do you think about them adding more locations? As I said, it kind of is filling that void of like, I want something to be different. Well, that's different. And then what do you think about the Silent Hill 2 story trailer? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. I've been Seth, and stay tuned. We'll have more videos coming out soon. Gamescom Opening Night Live is happening soon, and so there's all these videos popping up. I'm trying to keep on top of them so I don't put them on the back burner and forget about them. So expect more reaction videos coming soon. That's why there's no Tastycast right now, just because I'm trying to stay on top of this shit. So yeah. So anyway, I've been Seth, and until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.